Okay, there's some celebrities in March, and then there's some star power in March, and then there's Mike Morrell. What a force of nature. March Madness in UNC-Asheville. Mike, thanks so much for being with us.
Well, that's quite the introduction. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's good to be here.
I'm so excited that you, once again this year, are helping us raise some money for Special Olympics in North Carolina under the umbrella of 24 Hours Nothing But Net. I can't even begin to tell you how great it was last year that you were involved in the facility and helping out as much as you could to raise some money. I mean, that's a real generous offer of service, and I'm so grateful. So thank you for doing that and being back.
No, I mean, we have a great partnership here, Debbie, but one of the, I think the greatest form of that partnership is what we're doing right now, and we tell our players around here all the time, like it's just the price of admission, to sacrifice your time. There's no greater gift that we can give to others than our own time. I know it's a really, really special, cause for you, which means it's really, really special for us. And so, we're honored that you allow us to be a part of it here at UNC-Asheville and specifically me.
Well, I don't think we could do it without you, Mike. And you guys have the daily inspiration and opportunity to spend time with Hunter Davis, who is a friend of all of ours. But boy, does that guy love the Bulldogs, man. I mean, he's on your case about your guys and making shots, and he's a young man living with Down syndrome that works in your facility and is around every day. And I can't think of a better example of community than the way you guys have wrapped your arms around him in trying to help us raise some money and awareness for North Carolina Special Olympics.
Well, before I tell you what Hunter means to us, we've got to find a way to get this mixed in to this event. We gave him a new job, and we actually fired him from that job on the same day we gave it to him. We had him be study hall monitor for Drew Pember, Caleb Burgess, and Nick McMullen on one particular day. He's here on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and about 30 minutes into that particular assignment, I walk in and Hunter's knocked out. He said he's just dead asleep. So I actually got it on video and sent it to his mom, Kelly, and she put it on Facebook. She put him on blast immediately. And it was hilarious. I mean, it was, but I tell you what, man, I don't think there's anyone who critiques me as a coach more than Hunter. I don't know that there's anyone more honest about our team's performance than Hunter. And he also sits on the baseline of every game. So he hears every word that I say, Debbie, every word. And sometimes those words are constructive, and sometimes I'm just yelling at an official. So, man, he brings a lot of joy to this office, and it's just a lot of fun. Our guys, love having him around. He actually spoke to our team the day before we left to go to the NCAA tournament, and he's a part of our team. He's a part of our family. So he means the world to us.
Mike, I get chills thinking about how much you've embraced Hunter and how you've made him a part of your staff in many different ways. And I just love that story that you hired him and fired him on the same day. I can see Kelly, his mom, totally calling him out. And
he had no complaints either. He didn't try to fight to get that job back.
Well, every time I get the chance to come to Asheville, and it's been quite a few times over the years, I feel like it might be my second home in North Carolina. I definitely love spending time with you and your guys. I mean, I feel like the more you're around your players and that you're in the gym and around those guys, the more comfortable they are knowing that, hey, like, I really do care. I want to see those guys have success. And I'm so happy. I'm cheering for you from afar. And we text during the season, like when you have a big win, I'm keeping an eye on you because I really love what you're doing. And I really enjoy following your success. You had a huge year. It was a remarkable year. It was a record-setting year in so many different ways. when you think about the season, Mike, what do you think about that was probably something that you'll always reflect back on, knowing that, we did something special and we did it with a great group of guys?
Well, as you know, Debbie, and a lot of what you're doing right now deals with this is, the average fan doesn't get to see all the adversity that you go through, even in a year where it was the best year in school history here, winning 27 games and 2 championships, but they don't see all the adversity you go throughout the course of the year, whether it be a sprained ankle to, losing a really tough game that you feel like you maybe shouldn't have lost. And so I think those are the moments and the growth from those moments with this particular team that I really look back on and am so proud of them for. I mean, we won 9 in a row, and then we lost on the road, and we won 9 more in a row. Mm-hmm. So we won 18 out of 19. And I think, just that stretch is really where I'm like, okay, this group has a real ability to respond, which we define that as your ability to focus on the next most important thing. That's not what Webster's dictionary says it is, but that's what the Bible of UNC-Asheville basketball says that it is. But that's life. I mean, that's what we're talking about. It's like, you've got to respond when things go your way, but just as importantly, and I think especially for the student athletes that we have in this generation, you got to respond when things go your way. And that's just as important of a response. But, I think that's probably it. Although I'm not sure with this time of year that I've actually had the opportunity to reflect as much as I would like. So hopefully that's coming soon.
I was just going to say, I mean, the calendar has changed so quickly in college basketball. The landscape's so different. The portal, NIL, all the different spaces, recruiting your own guys to stay, finding new guys and new pieces, roster management. This used to be a time of, May, take a break, relax, go on vacation, maybe evaluate what you did and see what you want to add or change. I don't even know if you can get to the evaluation stage right now. You're still busy trying to put your roster together.
Yep, there's no question, and you hit the nail on the head. I had a coach I used to work with who's now retired. He said the other day, he said, "Well, Mike, I know how you feel," and I said, "Well, Coach, no disrespect, but you don't." But because 5 years seems like a lifetime ago in terms of how much has changed. But hey, listen, you adapt to it or you get left behind. Mm-hmm. And I'm 40 years old. I'm going into my 20th season, and that's is probably the thing that I've learned the most, just in the 5 years that I've been a head coach is, hey, you can gripe about it. You can spend a lot of time going down the rabbit hole of wishing things were different. But with the way things are rapidly changing, the more often you do that, the further you're going to get left behind. So I think retention, and you named it, the Tajon Jones and Drew Pembers of the world, retention is just as important. And in our case, especially at our level, more important than recruiting. And so, I still believe you can build a program and everything. But, man, I tell you what, there's some programs out there with 8-9 scholarships right now in May. So it's a different world.
Man, it's a challenge, that's for sure. But there are some good parts to it. And obviously keeping Tajon and Drew as a part of the mix is 2 incredible pieces to continue to build around. And so, I'm watching, and then, our buddy Rick LaCivita helps with a call, and CBS shows up, and now you're on Selection Show. And I watch the expressions of your faces. I mean, it's just remarkable, right? You've worked so hard, and now you're going to get a chance, and you're on the Selection Show. What was that like the build up that day? Because to me, waiting on the Selection Show is like Christmas morning. Right. It's the most exciting time in college basketball is getting ready.
Yeah, I think, outside of just a few particular games, that was maybe the most special day of the year. And it's just really a culmination, but also you're not done yet. And, I think as a first time going through it as a head coach, there's some things I'd like to go back and do a little bit different, but that's growth. That's what it looks like. But man, we really tried to bask in that moment. of what it means, knowing that those guys would remember it forever. We all would. And I was telling a group this the other day that asked me a similar question, and it's really hard to explain it until you experience it. And it's really hard to be ready for it until you experience it, actually being in the NCAA tournament. And we had a lot of new guys, in that moment for the first time, Debbie. But that selection show, that was just that was a time to honor and celebrate, and we did that. But I think, my hope is that it's made us hungrier for more. That's easy to say. It's really hard to do. But no, I mean, being on, the selection show and being one of those teams and having those guys experience just what the NCAA tournament is like. I mean, for me, I wasn't good enough to play in the NCAA tournament. I wasn't, but I tell people all the time, one of the reasons that I, had this drive to coach was to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. What's the you can't duplicate playing in it. Like, hey, that's the best. Second best thing, I guess, is to try to go coach in it. And so I tell those guys all the time, I'd trade seats with them in a heartbeat. Coaching's fun, but it ain't nothing like playing. So it'll be something they remember forever.
I'd say the third best part is calling games in the tournament, which, that is off the chart for me. I mean, that's right. A Super Bowl for me. That's probably part of the reason why it's so exciting. And I can feel your energy. I know. The other thing too is the tournament itself, because it's one of the greatest sporting events in the world, generates interest in your university. So I'm reading all these economic numbers and measures about UNC-Asheville and how many people, like 124% increase in the people clicking on the admissions page for the university. And then it's like 300,000 on all of your social media. And you can just feel that, this incredible vibe about Asheville that and that I've learned, these other people are starting to become introduced to it. And it's kind of cool, right? I mean, it just means that the university has an opportunity to kind of expand. You could kind of feel it just kind of like starting to grow. What's your feel, Ben, since, like, how's the response on campus, and, new people that you had never thought would be interested are now interested?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really cool part of it. I was an assistant at VCU too, Debbie, and you kind of saw that. Now they had been good for a long time. Don't get me wrong. You saw what the Final Four did for that program, but not just that program, the city of Richmond. And, we're just trying to take advantage of it. And, I think when it really hit me, frankly, was Championship Sunday in Charlotte at Bojangles, when, I mean, our fans really took over that arena. It felt like a home game for us. And we didn't play great, but we don't win that game in the last 8 minutes. Yeah, and don't win that game in the last 8 minutes without, that support. And that's really when it hit me. I'm like, they're like, everybody keeps asking, like, Mike, what did you say to him in that second to last media? I'm like, I didn't say anything. Just like, hey, I got enough. Like, let's keep chipping away at this thing. That was the single biggest thing, and I think coaches get a lot more credit than they deserve and a lot more blame than they deserve. So, yeah, I mean, it's special. We're fortunate. Drew Pember's also one of the best players in the country. Not just in mid-major basketball, hell with all that. He's one of the best players in America. And, I think having, him on that team and the type of year that he had, the story of Tajon Jones, 6th year, leading all-time leading scorer, then kind of leading that chart. I think there was just a lot of really good stories on top of the fact, Debbie, my first year, we won 4 games. So I think there was just a lot of good stories that came along with it. And, it was hard to flip it from 4 wins to getting it respectable again. The hardest part was getting it from there to actually, winning a championship. And so now it's sustaining that, and that's what we're trying to do. And part of that is taking that growth we made in the community and getting more people here to Kimmel Arena. And
one of the ways that you are connecting with the community is on the time of this taping, you will, and this airing, you will have already been to Bear Smokehouse Barbecue with some of your guys and the women's team, and creating an event to raise money for Special Olympics North Carolina by shooting free throws and eating some great barbecue. I mean, I went down there and had a meal while I was in town for the women's scholarship event. And that is a great place with a great setting right in the middle of everything. Yep. And that's that service component that you're talking about, Mike. You're actually putting your guys in a position where, you know, maybe they can give some time and shoot some free throws with some kid and, you know, see if we can raise some money for Special Olympics North Carolina. It's a great dedication of service and the relationship that you have with your guys.
Yeah, no, I you know, that's, again, that's the price of admission. How can we help, you know, the people who have helped us? And, you know, to me, you don't get a medal for that. That's just what you do when you're in sport. You know, some people might not, you know, I think that's what growth looks like. You know, I think, you know, when you give of yourself, when you do well in the classroom, when you do the things, you know, you know, off of the floor, I should say, you start to see success run parallel with that. But you don't do it for that. You know, you do it because you're helping somebody else. And Special Olympics here, you know, obviously for us, we've got a connection to Hunter. All of our guys feel that weekly when he's here. But it's, you know, it's just something that, like, you know, to me as a coach, that's the most rewarding part, when I see my players getting involved in something that's helping someone else. What better message can we send to the people who are watching our program than that? But again, that's not why you do it. You do it for the feeling that you get and the helping of someone else.
And you did it last year, and it was just remarkable what happened at UNC-Asheville. It was a great building block for this year. And, you know, your success is equal to the character of your program, Mike. And I'm so happy for you and proud to be a friend. And I'm so grateful for your time to help Special Olympics, to help us create some awareness, and to help some families like mine and like Hunter's, because you are making a difference, and it definitely makes an impact. And I'm grateful that on your busy calendar that we could fit in some time to spend. And I love seeing you, and I look forward to seeing you. I'll be back in October for sure, because I can't wait for the tip-off basketball banquet. I can just imagine how much fun that's going to be.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to it. But we're going to shoot some free throws before then, and eat some barbecue and raise some money, because that's in the short term. That's what we gotta tackle. So whatever we did last year, we gotta make sure we do better this go around.
Well, it already
I gotta
is
shoot free throws better. I know that. I gotta quit telling these guys that they gotta shoot 75%, and I'm out there firing away at 65. So.
Oh, I got confidence in you, 100%. I can see that percentage being high 80s this year. High 80s.
Oh, my anxiety's already running. My meter's already running.
This is supposed to be easy. But I'm so grateful, Mike. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate our friendship and our relationship through UNC-Asheville and through basketball. This is why we get to do what we do. I mean, I love making friends too inside the game, and you're a good one.
Thank you, Debbie. Feel the same way. Appreciate you.